So some time ago I promised to do the structures for the upper level for Morton. So we're going to take a look at that today. So the first thing you see here is the Shell fuel depot that existed up in Morton many years ago. So I've reincarnated that as to what I thought it would look like in Morton. And right here we have the tail of the Y, which is servicing the depot itself. And if we do a kind of a drone picture here, you can see the Y as it goes off to the right and the left. And then we have the little town of Morton itself. And we have several shops, and we have a restaurant. And if we go down the street here, I kind of sort of see what I've got going on. Different various buildings. This one in the front here, main store, is a Walther's kit. And then let me move around to the other side, to the right, and we'll take a look at some of the structures that are over there. Okay, so we are now to the right of the Y, and what you see here is Pizza Land, and also off in the background there is the Morton station, which I custom made. Is pretty close to the original. And then off to the left over here, and right there in the corner, we have the City Hall and Police Department. And then again in the background, as we swing around to the right here, we see a couple of the industries that were serviced up in Morton, one of them being Pole's Feed and Farm Good. And then we have the Chester Lumber Company as well. And then in the center we have a loading dock, which represents the pulpwood loading dock that existed in Morton. I guess it was over a mile long. It was one of the longest in the country. And I've also recreated the Shell station, which now exists up in Morton today. And then down here in the front are three little shanties, which are off to the side of the 2x4 plant, and represent I think they were like superintendent shanties or whatever. They're still there today, and people are actually living in them. If we go off to the right, I have a couple of tourist cars here that insignificant, but they're sitting there. If we go off to the right, we have another mercantile business. This is the Miracle Chair Company, not original to the prototype. But as we swing around the right here, we see the line that goes into Morton. So we go through some mountainous type territory here, and we go across the bridge, and I'm going to stop it here, and we'll pick it up again on the right, because my chair is in the way. Okay, so here we are with the wooden trestle, and a little stream going underneath, a few animals sitting down there. And then if we curve on around, we have a mountainous scene representative of the Pacific Northwest, and also located in here amongst the trees is a Campbell's 36-inch wooden curved trestle, and buried in here. And that takes us on over to the transfer tracks at Divide. Okay, now let's switch over to the 2x4 plant and the left side of the Morton complex. Okay, here on the left-hand side of the Morton, out here on the Peninsula, this is the 2x4 plant, and it's the biggest building on the layout. You can handle 3 or 4 boxcars. Also, there's a inside building place for cars to go into. Let's see if I can't show that over here. Okay, and so it has its own track, of course, and of course we have sundry types of lumber out here. We have a little Plymouth locomotive that services the area, takes care of these two tracks, and pushes things out onto the back side of the Y. Here's a better shot of the loading platform and also the Chester building, and you can see the two back leg parts of the Y here. There's one track for passing and another track that goes right straight through. Then off to the right here we have some more lumber scattered around, and then in the background we have the Morton grain complex and also a commissary building. And then the tracks feed on down to a single line main. We go past the servicing facilities for the trucks for the 2x4 plant, and then we go into kind of a wooded area. On here on the left hand side is a Cosmos cedar mill and shakes and railroad ties. You can see a guy in there treating the ties the old way. The lumber mill is fully developed. In other words, it has an interior scene. Let's see if I can get a shot of that. I'll open this up. Oh, excuse my hand. And if you look inside there, you can see the mill itself. Turn it around here. Yeah, take the other roof off. Yeah, so there's the power plant and the bogie in there to handle the logs, all that good stuff. Okay, and as we go down the line here, we go down a little grade, about 1%, and then that takes us down to the two sidings where we load up logs and then either take them to Morton or we go on down to Tacoma and drop our logs off either in the Tacoma terminal transfer tracks or down in LB, the transfer pack tracks down there. And so that about ends the tour of the layout and also the structures that are on the layout. I have down here at the end a small crane for loading the logs onto the bunk cars, and also a water car for the steam powered crane, and a little shanty crummy at the end. Gives you a pretty good idea what the upper level's like. And we'll pan on back here a little bit. And then up above, excuse my jiggling, is a loggers camp. 3 tented buildings and a few members out there getting ready to go to work. And that's about it. That's the upper level.